Creating videos requires a lot of hard work. I request you to please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. When you shift your mindset, you shift your entire existence. Sadly, about 85% of people struggle with low self-esteem, often driven by negative self-talk at some point in their lives. That statistic is alarming and should make us pause and ask, what are we telling ourselves right now? Today, we're diving into a powerful yet difficult topic: overcoming negative thinking. This isn't just about quieting that critical inner voice. It's about empowering ourselves to lead more meaningful, fulfilling lives. In the world of Stoicism, there's a profound insight. Our thoughts are not just fleeting whispers. They are the powerful voices that shape our happiness and our suffering. The Stoics teach us that while the world might not always bend to our will, how we perceive it is entirely within our control. These ancient philosophers weren't just wise thinkers. They were mental warriors, using reason and inner calm to fight against the chaos of unchecked emotions and destructive thoughts. Today, I want to guide you in understanding how negative thinking impacts us and explore some practical Stoic strategies for overcoming it. We'll learn how to harness the full power of our minds to create a life that isn't defined by the chains of negativity, but driven by the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. If you're skeptical, I encourage you to stay with me. This may challenge some of your long-held beliefs, but it will also open up new possibilities for personal growth. Before we begin, I'd love for you to share this video with others who are also on their own journey of self-improvement and philosophical exploration. And if you find the insights valuable, a simple way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button. Now let's dive into the heart of the issue: negative thinking. Negative thinking isn't just an occasional nuisance or a bad mood. It's a pervasive force that affects nearly every part of our lives. From how we feel when we wake up to the choices we make about our health, careers, and relationships, these thoughts can deeply affect our well-being. But what exactly is negative thinking at its core? It's a pattern of expecting the worst, undermining our own abilities, and often believing we're less capable or deserving than we truly are. So why do we fall into this trap? The Stoics believe that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. As Epictetus famously said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. This perspective is key to understanding the root of our negative thinking. It's not the world itself that limits us, but the lens through which we view it. Carl Jung also explored this idea, revealing that much of our negative thinking comes from the unconscious mind, the personal and collective unconscious. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." By bringing these hidden beliefs and biases to the surface, we can begin to reduce their power over us. Consider how this plays out in everyday life. When faced with a challenge, negative thinking can convince us we've already lost, even before we've started. This stops us from taking the very actions that could lead to success. It's like rowing a boat with all your strength, but not realizing that you're still anchored to the shore. No matter how hard you try, you're not going anywhere. Stoicism teaches us to critically examine our thoughts and question the validity of these negative assumptions. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, encourages us to reflect on our thoughts, discard those that are irrational or unhelpful, and focus only on what serves us. This kind of introspection allows us to detach from harmful patterns and take back control of our minds. Let's not underestimate the powerful impact our societal and cultural environment has on shaping our minds. In a world overwhelmed with messages about not being enough, whether it's not successful enough, not rich enough, or not smart enough, it's no surprise that negative thoughts often creep in. These messages take root in our minds, growing into weeds of doubt, insecurity, and fear, choking our potential. But Stoicism equips us with the tools to clear out these weeds, nurturing a garden of empowering, supportive thoughts instead. Today, we're not just talking about dismissing or ignoring negative thoughts. We're digging deep, questioning them thoroughly, and replacing them with reasoned, constructive thinking. The Stoic approach is not merely about coping with negativity. It's about thriving by mastering our thoughts. When we take control of our thinking, we take control of our perceptions and, ultimately, our lives. Every thought we choose to entertain and every thought we decide to challenge is a step toward the life we truly desire. The origins of negative thinking. To effectively address negative thinking, it's crucial to understand its origins. This isn't just about identifying bad habits, it's about uncovering the deeply ingrained roots that shape our perceptions and influence our mental landscapes. Negative thoughts often stem from a variety of sources: our upbringing, societal pressures, past failures, and sometimes even seemingly insignificant comments from others. These seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation can grow into a pervasive, persistent state of negativity. From an early age, many of us are exposed to environments that don't nurture positive self-esteem. Consider a child who's constantly told they're not smart enough, or an education system that rewards only perfection. These experiences can profoundly color our worldview. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. If we apply this to our minds, we see that repeated negative thinking can become a habit, shaping how we perceive ourselves and our abilities. Our personal experiences of failure and rejection only reinforce these negative scripts. Each time we face a setback or criticism, we internalize the message, "I knew I couldn't do it." This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because we lack the ability, but because we begin to act in ways that align with our negative beliefs. Plato's idea that reality is created by the mind highlights the importance of our mental perspective. If we can change our thinking, we can change our reality. By examining and challenging how we interpret events, we can begin to dismantle the foundation of our negative thoughts. Fear also plays a critical role in fostering negativity. It's a natural, protective response, but it can easily spiral into excessive worry or anxiety, clouding our judgment. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, and fear of rejection can all fuel catastrophic thinking, where the mind jumps to the worst possible outcomes. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote, the premeditation of evils, which involves imagining the worst-case scenario in detail. By visualizing it, we lessen its emotional impact and make it easier to face, should it ever come to pass. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Many of our negative thoughts are rooted in unconscious beliefs formed in our early years, shaped by our caregivers, teachers, and the media. These beliefs often go unchallenged because we're unaware of them. By bringing them into conscious awareness, we can strip them of their power and regain control over our thinking. Finally, we can't ignore the societal and cultural pressures we face. We live in a world that constantly promotes external validation, where success is measured by wealth, status, and appearances. These external influences often leave us feeling inadequate, feeding the cycle of negative thinking. But by embracing Stoic wisdom, we can learn to build our self-worth from within, guided by our own values and inner virtues, rather than by the shifting standards of society. In summary, understanding where our negative thoughts come from is the first step toward dismantling them. It's not about denying our fears or pretending they don't exist. It's about becoming aware of their origins, challenging their validity, and replacing them with thoughts that empower us to grow. Through this process, we reclaim control over our minds and our lives. In a world that often emphasizes scarcity and competition, where society sets exceptionally high standards that feel almost unattainable, it's no wonder that we're constantly measuring ourselves against others. This environment breeds comparisons and fosters a sense of never being good enough. However, Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this mindset. It teaches us to shift our focus from seeking external validation to cultivating internal virtues. Rather than measuring success based on how we compare to others, Stoicism encourages us to gauge our progress by our own personal growth, grounded in wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The roots of negative thinking are deeply embedded in a complex web of personal history, emotional experiences, ingrained fears, and the societal messages we internalize. But by tapping into the wisdom of both Western philosophy and psychology, especially the Stoic emphasis on controlling our perceptions and reactions, we can begin to unravel these negative thought patterns. This understanding doesn't just help mitigate the effects of negativity. It empowers us to reconstruct our mental framework in a way that fosters resilience and a more positive outlook on life. Renewing your mind. When we talk about renewing our minds, we're not referring to a superficial, short-term attempt to think more positively. This is about engaging in a deep, lasting transformation of our internal dialogue. The goal is to cultivate a mindset that enables us not merely to survive, but to thrive. The Stoic philosophers offer timeless guidance on how to achieve this transformation through the disciplined practice of self-reflection and the intentional shaping of our thoughts to foster resilience and inner peace. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea that our emotions and reactions stem from our judgments, and these judgments are within our power to change. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful statement reminds us that the renewal of our mind begins with taking control of our thoughts. By scrutinizing them for accuracy, we can align them with our true intentions and values, rather than letting them be shaped by external pressures or negative influences. Aristotle offers another valuable perspective here. He said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." To truly understand and transform our thoughts, we must first engage in a deep introspective journey. This involves identifying which thoughts serve us and which ones sabotage our progress. As we become more aware of our thought patterns, we gain the ability to challenge the negative ones that may have become ingrained over time. This process of challenging and reshaping our thoughts isn't about denying or suppressing our emotions. It's about understanding them better and learning how to manage them more effectively. Carl Jung's insights into the human psyche beautifully complement Stoic wisdom. Jung suggested that what you resist not only persists but grows in size. Instead of resisting negative thoughts, Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge them, analyze their origins, and assess their truthfulness. By confronting these thoughts head-on, we prevent them from festering in the shadows of our unconscious mind, where they can grow unchecked and influence our behavior in harmful ways. Renewing the mind also involves engaging with activities that nourish positivity and growth. This might include reading philosophical texts that challenge our thinking, immersing ourselves in art that inspires us, or spending time in quiet reflection and meditation. These activities provide new perspectives and narratives that can replace old limiting beliefs. Socrates insisted on the importance of living an examined life, and this concept is crucial when it comes to renewing the mind. By continually questioning our beliefs and examining the thoughts that arise from them, we engage in a mental renewal process that keeps our minds sharp and aligned with our true values. This ongoing examination isn't just a task we complete. It becomes a way of life that keeps our internal world refreshed and attuned to the present moment, free from the constraints of past fears or doubts. Plato also emphasized the importance of aligning with the forms, the ideal versions of concepts like justice, beauty, and goodness. In a similar way, renewing our minds is an effort to align our thoughts with the most virtuous and empowered versions of ourselves. By aspiring to these ideals, we create a self-concept that is robust and unshakable, built on the foundation of truth, virtue, and personal growth. In essence, renewing the mind is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice of reflection, re-evaluation, and self-cultivation. By choosing to challenge negative thoughts, engage with ideas that uplift us, and align ourselves with our highest values, we take control of our mental landscape and create a life that reflects our true potential. To put all of this wisdom into practice, we can begin each day with a simple affirmation or a Stoic reflection that sets the tone for the thoughts we wish to nurture. Whether it's a quote from Epictetus about the power of our responses, or a mantra inspired by Jung that reminds us of the strength found in facing our shadows, these daily practices serve as the building blocks for a renewed mind. By starting each day with intention, we cultivate an inner world that aligns with our highest virtues and aspirations. Surround yourself with positivity. The principle of surrounding ourselves with positivity is foundational to our mental and emotional well-being. This means consciously choosing the environments, people, and media that support and enhance our growth. As Seneca famously advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This wisdom encourages us to be selective about the company we keep, nurturing relationships that inspire, challenge, and encourage us to evolve into better versions of ourselves. Aristotle, too, highlighted the significance of the relationships we form when he discussed the different types of friendships. He categorized them into 3 types, those of utility, pleasure, and the good. The highest form, the friendship of the good, is based on mutual respect and the admiration of each other's virtues. These relationships are inherently positive because they foster a shared pursuit of virtue and excellence, and they help us grow stronger and wiser. Plato's allegory of the cave further underscores the impact our environment has on our perception of reality. The prisoners in the cave, who had only seen the shadows on the wall, believed them to be the only truth. When one of them escapes and sees the world outside, he realizes how limited his previous understanding was. This metaphor beautifully illustrates how expanding our environment to include uplifting, enlightening influences can significantly transform our perspective, broadening our awareness and understanding of life. Carl Jung's insights into the collective unconscious and archetypes deepen this understanding. Jung argued that our psyche is shaped by shared memories and cultural ideas, forming the collective unconscious. The archetypes in this unconscious influence how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with positive influences, we can shift the dominant archetypes in our personal narratives from those of fear and inadequacy to those that embody strength, courage, and self-actualization. In practical terms, surrounding ourselves with positivity means more than just being around cheerful people. It's about engaging with content and activities that reinforce our philosophical and life goals. This might involve participating in communities, both online and offline, where discussions are rooted in encouragement and constructive feedback, rather than criticism or negativity. It also means being mindful of the media we consume, opting for books, films, and programs that inspire and educate us, rather than those that perpetuate fear or despair. We can also create a physical environment that reflects the values and virtues we admire. This could mean keeping a clean and organized living space, which Stoics believe mirrors a clean and organized mind. It might also involve decorating our spaces with art, symbols, or quotes that remind us of our philosophical commitments, whether it's courage, justice, moderation, or wisdom. As Seneca writes, hang on to your youthful enthusiasms, you'll be able to use them better when you're older. By surrounding ourselves with positivity, we are cultivating those youthful enthusiasms, those values and passions that align with our better natures. This not only enhances our lives, but sets a standard for others in our circles, creating a ripple effect of positivity that can inspire growth and transformation in those around us. Take Stoic action. In our journey to overcome negative thinking, the Stoics remind us that understanding and intention alone are not enough. Action is essential. As Epictetus wisely said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This straightforward directive urges us to translate our intentions into concrete actions. It's not enough to simply reflect on or wish for a positive transformation. We must take deliberate steps to shape our thoughts and actions in alignment with the virtues we strive for. Taking action may involve practicing mindfulness, engaging in self-reflection, or challenging negative thoughts as they arise. It may also mean setting and working towards small, achievable goals that reinforce our commitment to growth. By consistently putting our intentions into practice, we cultivate habits of resilience, clarity, and strength that help us rise above negativity and build a life that reflects our true potential. In summary, to overcome negative thinking and cultivate a renewed mind, we must integrate the wisdom of Stoicism into our daily lives through intentional reflection, positive environments, and deliberate action. By choosing to surround ourselves with positivity, engage in thoughtful self-examination, and act in alignment with our values, we transform our internal and external worlds, creating a foundation for a life of meaning, strength, and peace. The importance of action in Stoicism. This idea underscores a profound Stoic truth. Our ideals must be manifest through our deeds, not just our thoughts. Taking action in the Stoic sense means engaging in behaviors and practices that reinforce our philosophical ideals. It involves making deliberate choices every day that align with our values of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. By embodying these virtues in our actions, we challenge the negative thoughts that tell us we are incapable or unworthy, thereby rewriting our narrative to one of empowerment and self-efficacy. Aristotle also emphasizes the significance of action in his doctrine of the mean, where virtue is not just a state of mind, but a state of character, formed through the habitual practice of choosing the balance between excess and deficiency. This practice is inherently active. Aristotle believed that we become just by performing just actions, brave by performing acts of bravery, and temperate by performing acts of temperance. Therefore, action is not merely a demonstration of virtue, it is the very means by which virtue is cultivated. Plato and the transformative power of action. Plato's theory of forms also lends insight into the transformative power of action. His philosophy posits that to know the good is to do the good. In other words, true knowledge, once attained, inevitably leads to right action. By aligning our actions with Stoic virtue, we move closer to the Platonic ideal of the good, thereby elevating not just our minds but our entire beings. Our actions, guided by wisdom and virtue, become a bridge to a higher, more enlightened existence. Carl Jung and the need for action in self-actualization. Carl Jung's concept of individuation, the psychological process of integrating the conscious with the unconscious in order to achieve self-actualization, further underscores the necessity of action. For Jung, this integration does not occur solely through contemplation, but through our encounters with the world that challenge and expand our existing frameworks. He argued that you are what you do, not what you say you'll do, emphasizing that our true character and psychological maturity are expressed through our actions. In this way, Stoic action goes beyond combating negative thoughts. It is about proactively living out the virtues that define Stoicism, making choices, both big and small, that reflect a commitment to self-improvement and philosophical integrity. Taking action in Stoicism. Taking Stoic action is about embracing the challenges life throws at us as opportunities for growth. Rather than shying away from difficult circumstances, Stoics see them as arenas in which to practice virtue. Each challenge is a call to action, a chance to demonstrate resilience, practice patience, or reaffirm our commitment to our principles. Life is full of obstacles, but with the Stoic mindset, they become invitations to embody the virtues we strive to live by. In practical terms, taking Stoic action can manifest in a variety of ways. It might be setting daily goals that reflect our values, engaging in community service that fosters justice and kindness, or maintaining disciplines like journaling or meditation that encourage reflection and self-control. Each of these actions not only counters negative thinking, but also builds a stronger, more virtuous self. The power of words. In Stoic philosophy, it's not only our actions that reflect our virtues, but also our speech. The power of words to shape our reality cannot be overstated. Epictetus famously advised, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." This idea highlights the inherent power of words, not just to express our thoughts and emotions, but to influence the way we perceive ourselves and the world. The Stoics understood that words can either build up or tear down the inner citadel of our minds. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reflected on the way our speech shapes our internal world. By carefully considering the language we use, we can ensure that our words align with the virtues we strive to embody. Our words, whether we're speaking to others or to ourselves, can reinforce or challenge negative thinking, create or destroy our sense of self-worth, and guide us toward a more Stoic way of being. Ultimately, the Stoic path is not just about thinking the right thoughts, but translating those thoughts into meaningful, virtuous actions and speech. When we act in accordance with our values, we begin to reshape our lives, making progress not only in our thoughts, but in the world around us. Through deliberate action, both internal and external, we can create a life grounded in purpose, wisdom, and resilience, communicating effectively and truthfully. In Stoic philosophy, the power of words is central to our personal and interpersonal effectiveness. The Stoics emphasize the importance of communicating truthfully, with intention and restraint, our words should reflect the virtues we strive to cultivate: honesty, kindness, and self-discipline. By aligning our speech with these virtues, we reinforce our Stoic practice and extend its influence outward, positively impacting those around us. Aristotle's contributions to this idea are significant. His concept of ethos, pathos, and logos highlights the persuasive power of speech. Ethos refers to the credibility of the speaker, pathos to the emotional connection between the speaker and the audience, and logos to the logical structure of the argument. For Aristotle, the way we speak and the words we choose are not simply about transmitting information. They also persuade, influence, and mold the world around us. When we speak, we are not merely conveying facts. We are shaping opinions, emotions, and behaviors. Plato and the precision of words. Plato's dialogues further highlight the importance of precision and intentionality in our language. Through Socratic questioning, Plato illustrated how dialogue could challenge assumptions and reveal deeper truths. Socrates, in particular, used questions and careful reasoning to guide others toward greater self-awareness and understanding. Plato's philosophy teaches us that through thoughtful and considered speech, we can direct others toward growth and self-examination. Carl Jung and the power of language. From a psychological perspective, Carl Jung's theories resonate deeply with the Stoic emphasis on mindful speech. Jung wrote extensively on the power of the unconscious mind and how language can both reflect and shape our unconscious impulses. By bringing unconscious thoughts into conscious awareness, especially through dialogue and reflection, we can integrate the different parts of our psyche, leading to greater psychological wholeness. Jung believed that this process of integrating unconscious impulses through mindful speech could lead to healthier, more conscious living. The power of words in internal dialogue. The power of words is not limited to external conversations. It also plays a crucial role in our internal dialogues. The language we use with ourselves can significantly influence our self-perception, emotional state, and overall mental health. Negative self-talk is a common experience, and it can be destructive. Such negative internal dialogue often leads to feelings of helplessness and decreased motivation. Conversely, positive self-talk, grounded in Stoic virtues, can be empowering. By practicing affirmations, we reinforce the strength, resilience, and self-control that are central to Stoic philosophy. These affirmations do not involve unrealistic or exaggerated claims, but rather focus on our ability to manage our responses and live according to our values. When we affirm our commitment to these principles, we strengthen our Stoic resolve and maintain our focus on virtuous living. Practical application: words as tools for transformation. The power of words in Stoicism is not just a theoretical concept, it is deeply practical. The way we speak to others, the way we engage in internal monologues, and even the way we interact with the broader culture, all of these are influenced by the words we choose. Each word carries weight. It can build or break, enlighten or obscure, heal or harm. As we continue to cultivate Stoic virtues, it is essential to be mindful of the impact our words have, not only on ourselves, but on the world around us. Concluding thoughts: words and actions forge our path. In closing, we are reminded that our words and actions go hand in hand in the Stoic practice. The Stoic journey isn't just about cultivating good thoughts. It's about expressing those thoughts through our actions and our speech. By living out our virtues, we create a life that is not only more resilient, but also more aligned with reason, virtue, and wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this profound journey through Stoic philosophy. Remember, the words we choose and the actions we take shape the path to a life lived with virtue and purpose. Every challenge in life is an opportunity for growth, and with Stoicism as a guide, we can turn those challenges into transformative experiences. If today's discussion was insightful, I invite you to continue exploring Stoic philosophy with us. Our next video delves into the Stoic approach to overcoming adversity. Just click on the link on the screen to continue your journey. Thank you for being part of our Stoic Journal community, where we are building not just knowledge, but wisdom and strength together.